Alrighty guys, we have already some good stats on hsreplay Premium, so we can start seeing how the meta is shaping up. Keep in mind it's still pretty early to make any grand assumptions, but it's still nice to see what are the better decks so far, so you know what you're working with. Anyway, if you're serious about Hearthstone, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget you can hire me for some Hearthstone coaching. Before we get into the best decks right now, let's talk about today's video sponsor, Brilliant. Brilliant.org helps you learn all kinds of complicated subjects like math, data science, or computer science interactively, which is the best kind of way to learn. Brilliant is great because it makes even the hardest subjects feel like a game, and it's a lot easier to grasp difficult concepts like that. You can set your daily studying to as much or as little as you like, so you can progress at your own pace. Brilliant is fun and interactive with thousands of lessons, from basics to advanced topics, and new lessons are added every month. And whatever your skill level on a certain topic is, Brilliant customizes its content to fit your needs. If, for instance, you're not sure where to start with programming, the new Thinking in Code gets you designing simple programs to solve real-world problems right away. From Maps app navigation to writing a program that automatically responds to work messages. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for 30 days, visit brilliant.org/Kris05, and the first 200 of you will get a 20% discount off Brilliant's premium subscription plan. So what are you waiting for? Go check it out. But now, let's check out the decks.
You are not prepared!
So here's what the stats show from Diamond to Legend ever since Titans came out. As you can see so far, Hunter is seemingly at the top, of two different variants with Hound Hunter and Secret Hunter at the top. We can also see Curse Warlock doing pretty well, Thaddeus Warlock as well. We have a few iterations of Rainbow Mage and both seem to be doing great. Relic Demon Hunter still doing quite well with the inclusion of a few new cards. Another version of Secret Hunter, so Secret Hunter definitely does look like it has a decent sample size. We also have another variant of Thaddeus Warlock with a very big sample size. Mech Pally as well as Mech Rogue are doing good. Same goes for Plague DK, and it's a bit different from the one I built. And that's about it for the above 50% win rate decks. The other decks that we can see have some stats going for them, but obviously not great win rate, would be Nature Shaman, which is going under 50. Trend Druid is also not as amazing as it seemed, even though it's very cheap, so it's definitely not a bad idea to give it a go. We also have another variant of Plague DK. Automation Priest seems to be a bait, and same goes for Control Warrior, sadly. Or actually, is it sad? Anyway, let's start looking at the decks into a little bit more detail, starting off with Hound Hunter, and here we can see obviously that they're using the new Always a Bigger Jormonger, which is obviously a no-brainer because it works so well with Hollow Hound, but you can also use it just so you can get some favorable traits in the early turns too. The new Titan Force Trap is also in here, which is pretty nice. It's still running zombies instead of the new secret, which I really do like the new secret, but it's a little bit predictable, I guess, I don't know. And we can also see the new Titan in here, which helps a lot. And it's also using the Prison of Yogg, which is a card I really hate, but I guess it does make some sense. Either way, everything else is the same in this deck, and you still are trying to live long enough so you can kill him off with a bunch of King Crushes, either for your Faithful Companion, or later on for your Stranglethorn Heart as well. Like I said, with Always a Bigger Jormonger, you're gonna be able to do a lot of more face damage with the help of Hollow Hound, but it's also gonna give you a lot more healing, because the damage that goes face is still gonna be healing you as well, so that's pretty nice. The next deck is Secret Hunter, and here we have quite a few more new cards, in the form of Awakened Tremors, which gives you a lot of extra gas, because the 1-drops you get out of these are technically almost better than actual 2-drops, so it's definitely pretty nice to have. We are running a bunch of good 1-drops, including Vicious Slither Spear so you're a little bit faster on the board, one copy of Anonymous Informant so you can discount some of your secrets. And this one again is only running 2 Hidden Meanings and 1 Zombies, but we also have again the Titan Force Traps, which help you get extra stuff. The Ancient Krakenbane helps you with extra damage, both for control or for face. And we are running the new Starstrung Bow, which is just a ton of damage for usually pretty cheap. Hydraulion at the end so you can have a meaningful threat if the game goes long enough, and again the Titan helps a lot too. Checking out at Curse Warlock, that definitely got quite a few cool new tools, including the new Chaotic Conception, which is a very hard removal for very cheap, and we also have the Drone Deconstructor, which helps you with some early game things to be doing, but also gives you a pretty cheap target to actually use with the Chaotic. With Sir Finley you can get extra card draw basically if you don't like your current hand. Torguide also helps you with the card draw, and also is a worthless target for the Chaotic. Defile is pretty much indispensable nowadays because it does deal with basically any board-centric deck pretty well. Drain Soul as well for extra bit of removal and healing. We have the new Thorn Veil, which is gonna help you with a little bit more life gain. We obviously have the good Curse package. The new Mortal Eradication is also very much indispensable nowadays for Warlock, and it's pretty huge. You got extra card draw with the Scourge supplies. School Teacher can give you extra curse action in the form of Drag Below. We have the Symphony of Sins, which is extremely powerful. And at the end we also have Sargeras the Destroyer. The Archon can still be used basically mostly for your curse action with either Abyssal Waves or with Drag Below. But I guess you could use it with things like Drain Soul as well if you really need that extra bit of healing and removal. We also have a variant with Thaddeus Warlock doing pretty well, and again, the main new inclusions here would be the Chaotic Consumption, the Mortal Eradication, but we're also seeing things like Forge of Wills, which is actually proving to be very powerful, in combination with things like Imposing Anubisat. We're also running the new Jailer, with which you can pull out something as big as an 11/11 with the help of Thaddeus, let's say, and again, we're running Sargeras in here. With Rainbow Mage, we have quite a few cool new stuff included in here, and we have Discovery of Magic so you can get extra rainbow amplifications. The Molten Rune can give you a lot of damage, and this can go face as well, and when you combine it with some spell power, that becomes pretty powerful pretty fast. We have the Old Reverberations, which can be pretty powerful with all of the big minions out there right now, so you can actually handle them easier. The Inquisitive Creation helps you with the board clear. You get the card draw for pretty cheap with the new Wisdom of Norganon. And we obviously have Sif, which has so much spell power the more you've cast different spells with. And same goes with Elemental Inspiration, which gets stronger the more spell schools you've cast. But yeah, with this one, you basically try to cast as much spell schools as you can, and you finish off the game with either a big Sif, with the help of a bunch of damage with Arcane Worm Bolts, as well as Molten Runes for some significant phase damage, or you finish off with pretty strong boards with Elemental Inspirations. Moving down to Relic Demon Hunter, and it's basically the same deck, but we are including the new Jotun the Eternal, as well as the Argus the Emerald Star Titan. Everything else in the deck is pretty much the same, but keep in mind if you're playing with Jotun, and you're playing against something like a Plague DK, if the first thing you draw the turn is actually a plague, this is gonna repeat it, which is not exactly a great thing for you, so keep that in mind when you're facing a plague deck. But yeah, basically if you had Relic DH, it's still pretty much super strong, especially if you can include the new legendaries for it. We also have Mech Pally. We also have Mech Pally doing okay. And this one's a little bit different from the one I showed you, and it's actually running the new Crusader aura, which is an extra spell, and that's kinda weird because they're also running Magatha, which is not a mech, and we also have plenty of spells in this one, so I think this kinda messes it up, but this is what the stats show so far. Other than that, it's running the powerful mechs, and we have Leviathan at the end, which is also something a little bit too heavy for my liking, I think, but this is what it shows so far. We also have a different variation from the one I played, of Plague Death Knight, and this one does look a bit more consistent, and it's a lot more control-y. It's also running a couple of Bonebreaker, which is kinda weird because we already have a pretty decent one-drop weapon, but I guess it does help you control the board in the early state as well. There's also room for Astalor in this one, it seems. Plague Strike as well for extra removal. A couple of Hardcore Cultists, which is pretty nice. With the Vizier you can discover extra Plagues again, and same goes for School Teacher. Tome Raider is a lot of removal again. Magatha is also in this one, which really sounds wrong. Like, honestly, this deck runs so many spells, so I'm really not a big fan of Magatha in this one, but it is what it is. Like, if you really want that card draw, maybe Finley's gonna be better than that, but that's also kind of weird if you ask me. We have a couple of Hollow Hands, which help you a lot with the control. Sylvanas is also quite the swing. And again, we have the Primus, which is a pretty huge Titan, which can do a lot of crazy things, and it's also super hard to remove, especially if the opponent doesn't have hard single target removal. And we also have the new Chained Guardians, which are also pretty powerful, and if you tempo these out, they're also pretty hard to remove because they have Reborn. And in the last spot, we have exactly my Mech Rogue, which is pretty cool because I literally built this exact deck myself, live on stream, so I'm kinda proud, even though the stats are just above 52% if I remember correctly, but yeah, it definitely does look like a great deck. The Lab Constructor is basically the main culprit here, and this card might actually get hit at some point, even though right now the stats really don't warrant it, but it's definitely carrying the deck super hard. We're also running Mimron, which is pretty hard to remove, and if you manage to stick it for a turn, then you're gonna be able to get a lot of extra goodies. It's also running the Mecha Leaper, but it's a bit underperforming honestly, so if you want to be fitting in something else, this might be the card to remove. Maybe for the other free drop that gives you coins, which is also a lot better statted as a 4-free magnetic, so yeah, maybe remove Mecha Leaper for that. And yeah, we have the Prime, and a lot of cool new cards as well as a bunch of old ones. You can check out my guide about it if you want to really know how to play with this one. Anyway, that's it for the meta report for now. As you guys know, I'm gonna keep you updated as soon as we get more stats. So far we don't really have anything for top 1000 legend, and just for legend we only have a little bit of stuff, but as you can see my mech rogue is actually killing it here, so that's pretty awesome. But yeah, the more we wait, the more stats we're gonna start seeing, so hold tight and I will update you as soon as we see some more stuff. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this meta report, guys. Don't forget to check out Brilliant and use my link so you can try it out for free for 30 days, as well as get a good discount. Thanks for watching, I'm Kris05 and I'll see you in my next video or stream.